Patriots have won 9 in a row. Can they make it 10 against the Giants on Monday Night Football? Let's break it down.
He's sacked, intercepted, into the end zone, touchdown, Patriots!
Welcome everybody to this week's preview, and the Patriots have one more game before their late bye week. It's going to be against the Giants here at Gillette Stadium on Monday Night Football, and Ev, it's another challenge for the team. They've had some injuries pile up this week. Will Campbell landing on IR. Jared Wilson's going to be out for a little bit. We'll see on some others. But Mike Vrabel and his coaching staff having to scramble a tiny bit. Just get a win here on Monday Night Football. Get to the bye week, and you'll be sitting pretty. But what do they got to do?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not going to necessarily be pretty. We're not really going for style points this week. Just get a win against a 2-10 football team that you should beat. But they've been, pesky, these Giants. They're in all these games. It's one score, double-digit leads in fourth quarters being blown left and right in New York. So it's not a team that's necessarily as bad as their record indicates. And it does sound like they might get Jackson Dart back in this game. So this is going to be a tough test. It's been kind of building over the last couple of weeks, late bye. It's a grind. Injuries are starting to pile up. So this would be an impressive W, even though the Giants are 2-10.
And maybe not the week you would pick to lose one of your tackles when you have Brian Burns and Abdul Carter coming to town. Those guys are really disruptive. We know about Sexy Dexy, Dexter Lawrence in the middle, pushing the pocket.
Yeah.
They got some players up front. It might not translate in the stats. You don't look at them with pressure numbers or anything like that. But when I turn on the tape and I watch these guys, they are dynamic. They are nightmares. Now, to me, it feels like, tell me if you think I'm wrong, but the run game. Let's get the run game going. We've been saying it all season. It feels like maybe we're hoping against hope at this point. But, to attack the edges a little bit, to attack up the middle, Detroit had a lot of success there. This is a bad run defense. We said it last week. It was a bad Bengals defense. Wasn't able to take advantage of that. But can they take advantage of this aggressive Giants defense with the run game?
Yeah, I think that's where you have to start, and it's a little bit of a weakness-on-weakness matchup. You have the 32nd ranked run defense in EPA versus the 30th rush offense in the Patriots in EPA. So a team that doesn't run the ball particularly well, but the Giants are historically bad stopping the run. They are giving up 5.9 yards a carry right now is this Giants defense. So if you can run the football a little bit on them, takes a little bit of a pressure off those tackles, and Ben Brown blocking on islands and blocking these pass rushers for the Giants, I agree with you. It hasn't necessarily translated to the metrics with this Giants pass rush. But when you watch them and you look at them on paper, it's a really good group. And I think a big reason why they've had all this turnover on their coaching staff is because of how much this defense has underperformed.
Yeah.
So at some point, are they going to capture that? Brian Burns and Carter and Lawrence, are they going to have one of those games where they just kind of take over the line of scrimmage, which was the vision when they put this Giants defense together? So one more stat on the run game really quickly. I want to look at downhill runs inside the tackles. The Giants are allowing 7.9 yards a carry on downhill man gap runs, just right at them, right? And that is dead last in the NFL by 2 full yards. The 31st team is the Buffalo Bills. They're allowing the 5.9. The Giants are at 7.9. So that is a huge, huge weakness in this team. Jahmyr Gibbs had 180 rushing yards up the gut against this Giants team last week. So as much as the Patriots have struggled a little bit running the football, if there's ever a week to be able to run the football at least a little bit to take some of the pressure off the passing game, it's this week.
So Giants had a little something going, it felt like a few weeks ago, when you had Jackson Dart was in there making some plays. Cam Scatterbo making some plays. Right. Scatterbo breaks his leg. He's out. Concussion for Dart. He might be coming back. Derailed them a little bit. But, what I like is the Theo Johnson of it all, the big tight end. And that's kind of been a problem for the Patriots this year. Looks to me like Dart has a lot of confidence in him to just chuck it up to his big tight end, let him make some plays. And then Wan'Dale Robinson, who's just been really productive. No Malik Neighbors anymore, but he continues to post numbers. These are two guys Patriots, I think, are going to really have to figure out how to cover them and make them not to steal the game.
Yeah, so they run a lot of 2 tight end sets. They're near the top of the league, I believe 5th in the league in the amount of time that they spend with 2 tight ends on the field. So it's a lot of Theo Johnson, but they also run a lot of 2-back formations with a tight end sort of / fullback there in the backfield. So they have that capability of putting heavy personnel on the field. Now, the other thing, though, with Dart is that he's in the shotgun a lot more than Jameis Winston or Russell Wilson were. They really were an under center offense with Jameis Winston over the last couple of weeks. With Dart, it's about 75% shotgun, which is near the top of the league. So they're going to spread the field out with Dart. They're going to put him in the gun. Now, the one question I have with Dart that's a little bit different than what the Patriots have seen, with Jameis on film this week. He does run by design quite a bit. He actually leads all quarterbacks with 152 rushing yards on design quarterback runs. Now, the rub there is he just had a concussion, right? So, do you still, if you're the Giants at 2-10, bringing your hopefully the future of the franchise back in Jackson Dart, are you still going to run him by design as much as they did, let's say, against Chicago when he got knocked out on a design quarterback run with that concussion? So that's the big question I have, because this offense with Dart is more explosive, is different, is harder to defend when he is running around, whether it's extending plays or run by design. It's not all that different than what we see with Drake Maye, but it's just kind of deciding when is that useful, when do you need it, when is it a high leverage situation where you might want to pull that out, and are they going to just let him run wild coming off this concussion?
All right, you said Drake Maye. We always wrap up, I think, with some Drake Maye discussion, of course. This week, Drake going to be facing some man defense. As we talked about on Patriots Unfiltered this week, they're a cover one kind of team. They're going to come down in the box trying to help their run defense out a little bit. But, we've seen solid progress from Drake this year. I mean, he's been outstanding, always making at least a handful of throws every game that make you go, wow. But at the same time, we need consistency from him. And I think he'll tell you the same, being good about knowing when to take sacks. Seems like it's going to be a challenge this week for him with these edge rushers.
Yeah, I look at, just them being able to get hat on a hat with this new offensive line, because it's one thing to have the one-on-one breakdowns where you just get beat. That's going to happen. It's the NFL. They pay the defensive players too. But the big thing that I thought they struggled with a little bit in Cincinnati was those cover zero blitzes in particular, but just the blitz package in general, where there's just free runners or unblocked rushers to the quarterback. And those are the ones that you'd like to eliminate. Like, at least get a guy to be a speed bump on the way to Drake Maye, right? Can we at least get
slowly?
Can we at least get somebody in the way? And, that's a lot on Drake Maye's plate. It is. It's a lot of pre-snap. He's got to point out the mic and move the protection, and I get too jargony for you, but he's got to do all those types of controls at the line of scrimmage. And, the Bengals, to their credit, they played some cat and mouse with him, and they were able to get some guys free. Now, this Giants pass rush, because they have the dudes, they don't necessarily do that, and they don't load up on blitzes necessarily. But with a new play caller, you don't really know what you're going to get with Charlie Bullen calling the plays now. He might come out and throw the kitchen sink at Drake Maye from a protection standpoint. So I thought the first time that there were really some cracks in that foundation protection-wise was last week against the Bengals. So let's see if the Giants try to hit some of the similar buttons and how Drake Maye reacts to that.
All right, this Giants team going to be a really big challenge for this Patriots team, but just get to 11 wins, control your fate in the conference and the division. Be a great win for the Patriots. We'll see you on the Patriots pregame show starting at 7 p.m. Kickoff is just after 8.